Ever walked into a fancy restaurant and suddenly forgotten the English word for fork? Or perhaps you've been in a clothing store holding a shirt that's way too big but you didn't know how to ask for a smaller size without sounding like a robot?
We've all been there. It's called the language brain freeze. But don't worry. Today on Fluent Every Day, we are launching our massive Survival English series. We're going deep, very deep into the vocabulary and conversations you actually need for daily life.
This isn't your classroom English. This is get what you want English. So grab a coffee, sit back, and let's master the world of dining and shopping.
Sarah, let's start with my favorite place, the restaurant. But before we eat, we have to get in. If it's a popular spot, you can't just walk in, right?
Exactly, David. You need to make a reservation. This is your first test. When you call, don't just say, table please. Use professional phrases like, I'd like to book a table for 4 for this Saturday at 8 p.m. Or, do you have any tables available near the window? Or, is there a dress code for your establishment?
And what if you have a change of plans? That's a great vocabulary opportunity. You call back and say, I'm calling to modify my reservation, or I'm afraid I need to cancel my booking.
When you walk in, the host will greet you. Do you have a booking? If you don't, you can ask, do you have a table for 2 available now? We don't mind waiting at the bar.
Once seated, you'll get the menu. But modern menus can be confusing. You'll see sections like à la carte, ordering separate dishes rather than a set meal. Appetizers or starters, small dishes to whet your appetite, like calamari or soup. The main course, the heart of your dinner, and sides or accompaniments, extra fries, steamed greens, or mashed potatoes.
This is where people get nervous. The waiter comes over and says, can I start you off with some drinks? Or, are you ready to order? Or do you need a few more minutes?
Pro tip for our listeners, use the could I have or I'll go with structure. It sounds natural and polite. Could I have the steak, please? I'll go with the seafood pasta. What would you recommend for someone who likes spicy food?
And David, we have to talk about dietary requirements. This is crucial for health. I'm allergic to shellfish. Does this dish contain any? Is this dish vegetarian friendly? Could I have the dressing on the side, please?
While you're eating, the waiter might do a check back. They'll ask, is everything to your satisfaction? If you need something, this is the time. Could we get some extra napkins? Or could I have another carafe of water?
And finally, the bill. Don't just wave your hand. Catch their eye and say, could we have the bill, please? If you want to pay for everyone, you say, it's on me. If you want to split it, can we split the check evenly? Or we'd like to pay separately.
Okay, we've eaten, now we need to look good. Let's go to the shopping mall.
Shopping is all about interaction. As soon as you walk in, a shop assistant might approach you. Can I help you find anything today?
If you're like me and just want to look, say, no thanks, I'm just browsing. It's a great word, browsing. It means looking without a specific plan to buy.
But when you find that perfect jacket, you need to check the details. Do you have this in a size medium? Does this come in any other colors, like charcoal or navy? What material is this? Is it pure wool or a blend?
The most important part is the fitting room. Where are the changing rooms? Can I take these 3 items in?
And the vocabulary for how it looks on you. It's a bit too baggy. It's too tight around the waist. The color doesn't really suit me. It fits like a glove. It means it is absolutely perfect.
Everyone loves a bargain. Here is how you ask. Is this item on sale? Do you have any upcoming promotions? Is there a student discount available?
And what if you get home and realize the shirt has a hole, or you just don't like it? You need to know the return policy. Can I return this if it doesn't fit? Do I need the original receipt for an exchange? Is this item eligible for a full refund?
Wow, Sarah, we've already covered so much ground, from ordering the perfect medium rare steak to finding a jacket that fits like a glove.
And this is just the beginning. Listeners, these phrases are your tools. Use them. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how you learn.
In the next part, we are going to tackle the supermarket, meal prepping, and the vocabulary of health and fitness. You don't want to miss it.
Make sure to subscribe to @FluentEveryday6 and leave a comment below. What's your favorite thing to order at a restaurant? See you in part 2.
Stay fluent, everyone.
Welcome back to Fluent Everyday. In part 1, we mastered the art of dining out and shopping for clothes. If you missed it, make sure to go back and listen, because today, things are getting even more practical.
That's right, Sarah. Today, we're talking about the places you visit every single week, the grocery store and the gym. Plus, we're going to help you navigate one of the most stressful situations, talking to a doctor in English.
This is part 2 of our Survival English mega series. Let's dive in.
Topic 3, grocery shopping and meal prep, the kitchen master.
Sarah, I think grocery shopping is the best place to practice English because every item has a label and every aisle has a name.
Exactly, but it can be overwhelming. Let's start with the basics. When you enter a supermarket, you first need to decide, trolley or basket? Where can I find a trolley? Do I need a coin for it? I'll just grab a basket. I only need a few things.
Navigating the aisles. Supermarkets are organized by aisles. If you're lost, don't wander around for an hour. Ask a member of staff. Excuse me, which aisle is the baking soda in? Could you tell me where I can find the international food section? Is the poultry section towards the back of the store?
Let's look at the different sections you'll encounter. 1. Produce section. This is where you find fresh fruits and vegetables. Use words like organic, locally grown, and seasonal.
The deli counter. Here you buy sliced meats and cheeses. You'll need to say, I'd like 200 grams of smoked turkey, thinly sliced, please.
The dairy aisle. Milk, eggs, yogurt. Watch out for terms like semi-skimmed, whole milk, or dairy-free alternatives.
Dry goods or pantry staples. Flour, sugar, pasta, and canned goods.
One thing learners struggle with is units of measurement. In English, we use specific words for certain packages. A loaf of bread, a carton of milk or juice, a clove of garlic, a tin of tomatoes, UK, or a can of tomatoes, US.
At the checkout, it's a high-speed conversation. The cashier will say, do you have a loyalty card? Would you like a receipt in the bag? Will you be paying by card or cash? Will you need any extra bags? They're 10 cents each.
And if you realize an item is priced incorrectly, say, excuse me, I think this was marked as buy one, get one free on the shelf. Could you double-check the price?
Now, David, let's get physical. Health and fitness vocabulary is divided into 2 parts, staying fit at the gym and seeking help when you're sick.
When you join a gym, you'll talk to a personal trainer. You need to explain your goals. I'm looking to build muscle and increase my strength. I want to improve my cardiovascular endurance. I'm trying to lose some weight before my summer holiday.
And during your workout, you might need to share equipment. Are you using this bench? How many sets do you have left? Do you mind if I work in with you?
This is serious. When you're sick, you need to be clear. First, you make an appointment. I'd like to schedule a consultation with Dr. Smith. It's quite urgent. Do you have any cancellations today?
When you see the doctor, you must describe your symptoms. I've been feeling under the weather for a few days. I have a sharp pain in my lower back that radiates down my leg. I feel quite congested and I've had a persistent fever.
The doctor will then give you a diagnosis and a prescription. They might say, you've picked up a viral infection. You need plenty of rest and fluids. I'm going to prescribe some antibiotics. Take 1 tablet twice a day after meals.
And don't forget the pharmacy. You'll go there to fill your prescription. Are there any side effects I should be aware of? Can I take this on an empty stomach?
Since we bought all those groceries, let's talk about meal prepping. This is a huge trend right now for English learners who are busy.
Meal prepping is the act of planning and preparing meals in advance. It uses great action verbs. To marinate. I'm marinating the chicken in lemon and herbs overnight. To sauté. Sauté the onions until they are translucent. To blanch, blanch the broccoli for 2 minutes, then put it in ice water.
Also talk about portion control. I'm dividing the meal into 5 airtight containers. This helps me avoid buying expensive lunches at work.
We've covered the kitchen, the grocery store, the gym, and the doctor's office. That is a massive amount of vocabulary.
But we aren't finished yet. In the final part, part 3, we're going to look at the most lost topic, asking for directions. We'll also do a massive review and give you a special survival cheat sheet to wrap up the series.
So make sure you're subscribed to Fluent Everyday 6. If you're finding this helpful, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow and allows us to keep making these long-form lessons for you.
Go back and listen to any parts you found difficult. Repetition is the key to mastery.
We'll see you in part 3 for the big finale.
Bye for now.
Welcome back to the grand finale of our Survival English series here on Fluent Every Day. I'm Sarah, and I'm joined as always by David.
Hello, everyone. We have traveled through restaurants, shopping malls, supermarkets, and even the doctor's office. Today, we are finishing our journey by learning how to find our way when we are lost.
Getting lost in a foreign city can be scary, but with the right phrases, it actually becomes an adventure. Let's master the language of the streets.
Even with GPS and Google Maps, technology sometimes fails us. Maybe your battery died, or maybe the signal is weak between tall buildings. That's when you need to talk to a local.
Exactly. And the most important thing to remember is politeness. You are interrupting someone's day, so start with a softener.
The polite opening. Don't just walk up and say, "Where is the station?" That can sound a bit rude. Instead, try, "Excuse me, sorry to bother you, but I'm a bit lost." Or, "Pardon me, could you tell me how to get to the nearest metro station?" Or, "Hi there, I'm looking for the high street. Am I heading in the right direction?"
Asking the question is the easy part. The hard part is understanding the answer. You need to listen for directional keywords.
Let's break them down. Go straight ahead or keep going. Don't turn, just continue on this road. Take the first left. Past the street you are on and turn left at the very next one. Go past the... Keep walking until you see a building, like a bank, then keep going further. At the intersection or junction, where 2 or more roads meet.
And don't forget landmarks. People often give directions based on what you can see. It's right opposite the cinema. You'll see a large fountain on your right. It's tucked away behind the old church.
This is a pro tip for all our listeners. Always repeat the directions back. It ensures you didn't misunderstand a left for a right.
Right. You can say, okay, so I go straight for 2 blocks, turn right at the pharmacy, and it's next to the library. Is that correct?
If it's too far to walk, you might ask, is it within walking distance or should I take a bus? Which bus line goes towards the city center? Or is there a taxi rank nearby?
The ultimate survival review, connecting all parts.
We've covered 5 massive topics. Let's do a quick lightning round review for our audience to tie part 1, part 2, and part 3 together.
I love it. Let's imagine a full day in the life of an English learner.
Morning. You go to the doctor. You say, "I've been feeling a bit run down lately." The doctor says you need vitamins.
Afternoon. You go grocery shopping. You ask, where's the health food aisle? I need some supplements. You pick up a carton of juice and a bunch of bananas.
Evening. You're going to a restaurant to meet a friend, but you're lost. You ask a stranger, "Excuse me, how do I get to the Green Bistro?" They tell you to take the second right.
Finally, you arrive. The waiter asks, are you ready to order? And you confidently say, I'll have the grilled salmon, please.
See? Everything we learned is connected. That is the beauty of survival English.
The everyday fluent survival tips.
Before we wrap up this 3,000-word journey, we want to leave you with some final advice on how to use these skills.
Tip number 1, don't aim for perfection. If you say, where station, instead of, could you tell me where the station is? People will still help you. Communication is about the message, not just the grammar.
Tip number 2, use body language. If you're at a clothing store and don't know the word for sleeve, point to your arm. It's okay to use gestures.
Tip number 3, carry a cheat sheet. Write down 10 of your favorite phrases from this podcast series on your phone or a piece of paper. Having them ready will give you huge confidence.
We have reached the end of our Survival English Masterclass. It has been an incredible journey through these 3,000 words of practical English.
We hope this series makes you feel more empowered when you step outside. Whether you're in London, New York, or any English-speaking environment, you now have the tools to survive and thrive.
If you've listened to all 3 parts, you are a legend. Please let us know in the comments which of the 5 topics was the most useful for you.
Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends who are also learning English, and most importantly, subscribe to @FluentEveryday6.
We have more deep dive series coming up. Everything from business English to phrasal verbs. You won't want to miss them.
Thank you for being part of our community. Keep practicing, stay curious, and keep speaking.
See you in the next episode. Stay fluent.
Bye-bye.